So we're going to talk about the Beckman Coulter PACE MDQ capillary electrophoresis system. Inside this device here, you can see that there is a cartridge inserted neatly into here, inside of which is the capillary, which is where your separation actually occurs. And around this capillary, there is tubing of which cooling fluid flows around to reduce the impact of joule heating and thus keep your peaks tighter. Up here in the front, we have a sample inlet tray and an outlet tray. You're typically going to have more vials in the inlet tray than the outlet tray because you need samples that, such as a base and high purity water that you can use to wash your capillary before and after you've done performing your runs, and sometimes in between your runs as well. You're also going to have a running buffer in this and your sample that you're going to inject. And in your outlet tray, you're going to have two vials, one predominantly for waste, when you're actually using pressure to clean out the capillary, and another that's also going to have your separation buffer, just to make sure that there is no siphoning affecting your flow rates, and to make sure that you maintain your electrical conductivity while you're running. So to access the software for this device, you're going to go ahead and click on 32 Carat 7.0. This is going to open up a window for you, inside which it will give you two options, Instrument and PACE MDQ. You're going to double click the option that says PACE MDQ. Once you're in the program, the easiest way to control the device is to go to this Control tab, to the Direct Control option, and select View. This will bring up this tab for you, from which you can monitor the progress of a run that's currently going on. You can change the wavelength that you're detecting at. You can load more samples using this load command here. And you can manually stop a run if you wanted to. In order to change the method that's run by the machine, you have to go to the Method tab up here and select Instrument Setup. Currently, right now, it's set to rinse the capillary in order to prepare it for the first run. First by rinsing it for 5 minutes with your weak base, in our case 0.1 molar sodium hydroxide, and then rinse it for another 5 minutes with high purity water, and then finally another 5-minute rinse with your running buffer in order to prime the column. Or capillary. I'm going to redo that one. That was pretty good, but... So, in order to change the method that's being run by the machine, you have to go up to the Method tab here and select Instrument Setup. In here, Alright. In order to modify the method that's being run by the machine, you go to the Method tab up here and select Instrument Setup. Currently, it's set up to prime your capillary for your first run, first by rinsing it for 5 minutes with your weak base, in our case 0.1 molar sodium hydroxide, and then for another 5 minutes with your high purity water, and then last another 5 minutes with your running buffer, and that will make sure that your capillary is ready to run. Now, in order to change the set of events, you can highlight all of them and select and press delete on the keyboard in order to clear out the set of events. In order to set up your own method, you're going to have to clear out all your previous events and then select the first event box and select the arrow on the right, and this will give you a list of events you can do. The first thing that you're typically going to want to do on every run is rinse with your running buffer. In order to do this, you're going to have to change vials because the program innately sets it to the first vial in both the inlet and outlet tray. In order to change vials, all you have to do is select on the tab that has your inlet vial and select on which slot your running buffer, in this case, is in, and press OK, and it's as easy as that. Now, this is an example of what a full method will look like. Some of the very important parts to note in this are that when you set up your separation event, you need to make sure that you set the time equal to 0 minutes, otherwise the instrument will not record any data for you. In addition to this, when you're running your separation, you want to make sure that the outlet vial being used is the outlet vial that contains your running buffer. And then once all this is done, go ahead and press apply and close out of the window. Once your method is set up, in order to run your sample, all you have to do is go over here to this blue arrow on the left-hand side of the screen that says single run and click it. When you do, it'll bring up a tab in which you can change your sample ID, you can change the file name, and where that file will be saved. It's important to note that this file will not be saved in a form that can be easily exported or extracted. In order to get your data into a format that's more easily analyzable, you need to go into the Method tab and go to Advanced. From here, you should be in this first tab labeled Export. This box, Export Enabled, needs to be checked. Then go to the drop-down menu underneath it and select Electrophoregram. You need to make sure that ACS2 here is in the Export These Parameters side. In addition to this, you want to go down to here and make sure that your path for exporting your files is set to go to the folder that you desire. After you've performed your run, gotten your separation, you have your electrophoregram out here like this. In order to actually export your data into the different file type, you have to go to Analysis and press Analyze. And then it should export your file as a text file to the folder that you told it to. However, it's important to make sure to check that, as sometimes the program doesn't work properly. Once you've run all your samples and collected all your data, it's important to make sure that you rinse your capillary before shutting down the machine. In order to do this, you go to the Method tab and select Instrument Setup again, and you want to set up a method that rinses the capillary for 5 minutes with the weak base and another 5 minutes with your high purity water. Once this run is complete, you can close out of the software and shut down the machine.